The following video may contain spoilers or talk of sensitive topics. Continue if you wish. Hey guys, it's Mia here and welcome back once again to another bookish review. And today we are going to be talking about The Mockingjay. Wait a minute. This isn't a bookish review and we already did this. Today we are actually going to be talking about Mockingjay Part 1, the movie. I just finished watching it before I got in the shower, and I have a few thoughts. So, to be fair, this was not my first time watching this movie. It was actually my second. I actually saw Mockingjay Part 1 when it first came out in theaters. I went with a friend of mine at the time to see it. And I remember the audience's impression of the movie being less than stellar. Everyone left the theater bored and disappointed. And that was my thoughts as well. And upon a second watch, I don't think that has really improved. So if you have not read the book or you have not seen this movie, then I promise you that you want to leave the video now, because I will be talking about spoilers for the movie. So, this one is going to take a lot more comparing to the book than the other ones have, because where I felt like The Hunger Games and Catching Fire, their movie adaptations felt very faithful to the books and very well done and very well cared for. But right off the bat, it just seems like in Mockingjay, they are trying to tick boxes off of a list. Where in the book, we get to see a lot more of the emotional toll, how Katniss gets constantly wigged out by stuff because of her PTSD, and how everyone else is handling her being the Mockingjay that's nearly broken at this point. So, not only do we get to see Katniss slowly trying to heal from that, but we also get to see her trying to learn this new world and this new system of 13. But in the movie, it feels like stuff just goes bam, 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 bam to get it done. Like, we don't get to know Boggs. We don't get to know her camera crew. We don't get to farther Katniss and Peeta's relationship. We don't get to see the connections that we saw in the book. So that right off the bat takes away most of what makes you care about this book, is the fact that no one seems quite human, at least in the movie. They all seem like they're robots to me, at least the movie version. There's hardly any talking to begin with, so it doesn't do a very good job of voicing Katniss's opinions and the other people's opinions and all of that. And for some reason, we didn't get a key scene, which was Katniss finding out that her prep team was being held captive in 13. That was one of the parts that made her start to realize maybe the District 13 isn't so trustworthy. But in the movie, it doesn't show that at all. And for some reason, Effie is in the picture. So, once again, because of them trying to hit the boxes, this movie feels very hollow and very empty, and our characters feel, like I said, more like robots than actual people, unlike they did in the previous two movies. And on top of that, this movie is very dark. And I do not mean dark in terms of tone, I mean dark in terms of visualization. It's bland, it's colorless, there's this weird dark filter over everything that makes it look dingy and dark and dirty, and the parts where it was at night when it was already dark and dreary, I could hardly see while I was watching the movie. So it just feels like they rushed through this one, even though the movie is 2 hours and 5 minutes long. Like, one of the relationships that I really enjoyed from the book, which was getting to know Finnick better and getting to know Boggs, we got to know them more. But in this, they just cut all that out for the sake of shoving Katniss in our face the whole time. Which I get is kind of what they were doing in the book, like shoving the Katniss in the Capitol's face. But the characters that were introduced felt like hollow shells. They felt like nothing more than cameras being hauled around, which is what they were doing. They were a camera crew. So this movie falls very flat because the connections that Katniss was making in the book, even before part 2, was not there. You didn't see her struggle in her mind as much, even though the movie did show it a few times, like when she was hiding in the beginning, huddled up, rocking back and forth, and they're coming hunting her down in one of her hiding spots. That showed it, but there were not many moments of that. We got her crying here or there, and it just all felt very hollow. I don't know if they didn't like this book particularly, so they were like, let's just do it to get it over with and get our paycheck. But I still feel like Jennifer Lawrence was trying as Katniss. Like I said, not many people are in it long enough to be anything. And something I really loved from the books was that feeling like you couldn't trust District 13. And this movie was so hollow and everyone was so robotic that whole feeling of this isn't right, they're not on her side, that did not show like it did in the book because of the roboticness of it. It just felt like they were checking off a checklist. Everything was quiet, dark, and so fast. Even though the movie was 2 hours long, it felt like we were sitting there for like 5 minutes. I felt like it was 5 minutes long and we were done. Nothing was established. No characters were built like they were in the book. Her PTSD was not as established. Although they did cut down on drugging her, which was nice because in the book they literally had drugged her so many times that she became dependent on morphine because she was addicted. That's how many times they drugged her in the book. Not good. But so far, I think that this is the worst movie in the entire series so far. I still have one. I'll probably do the review for that tomorrow, or I'm about to watch the movie right now or whatnot, so it just depends on how I'm feeling. So far I give Mockingjay a big no thank you, and it's just as forgettable as it was when I first watched it and it first came out in theaters, and I think my opinion of the movie still stands, that it's rushed, unestablished, robotic, and boring. So my opinion on that has not changed, but if you like this movie, then that's perfectly okay. It's just not for me. Hopefully the second movie will close it out a lot better, because I genuinely really enjoyed all 3 of these books, with so far Catching Fire being my favorite. So we'll see if that still stands after I watch Mockingjay Part 2. Alright, I'll shut up now. Hope to see you next time. Bye guys!